Welcome to the process map to become a hideous beast. Today we're going to take a look at a very basic example that demonstrates how to use swim lanes, tasks, and exclusive gateway shapes. This is going to be based on the opening of Disney's Beauty and the Beast story. In specific, we're going to look at the opening scene when the enchantress comes to the castle and knocks on the door, and then ultimately what the process was to make the prince into a beast. Looking at our process in its entirety, we can see that the pool has been set up with 2 swim lanes. Let's take a closer look. We can see that our pool, How to Become a Hideous Beast, has 2 swim lanes within it, the prince and the old beggar. We know that our swim lanes are going to indicate ownership of given tasks as well as decisions. We can see the first task for the prince is to open the door to the castle. The next task in our process belongs to the old beggar, where they're going to be offering a rose in exchange for shelter. At this time, the prince will consider the offer of a rose in exchange for shelter. If you have seen the movie, you may recall that the prince rejects the offer, and I'm not sure if the outcome should have been any different. Considering that the old beggar came to the castle in the middle of the night, there would be something a little bit sketchy about it. However, let's take a look at the next shape, which is our exclusive gateway. This is the purple diamond with the X in the middle of it. At this time, as the prince is considering the offer, we're also going to take a look at a scenario that didn't take place in the movie, and that's following the path in the top. And the path reads, "Why not? Nothing sketchy here." Following this path that did not happen in the movie, we could make an assumption as to what the next task might be. The prince may call for his servants to find a room for the old beggar, and then we could assume that the ending would have been that the prince remained a handsome man, who was probably still very ugly on the inside, as we wouldn't have had Beauty and the Beast to tell us the story about how inner beauty matters more than physical beauty. Now let's explore the other path in our exclusive gateway, which is what happened in the actual movie. Following our path down from the exclusive gateway, we can see that the prince pushes away the old beggar. At this time, the beggar proceeds to say a very cryptic line. Following our process map further, we can see that the next task belongs to the prince, where he's considering this counter offer yet again, if he should accept the rose in exchange for shelter. Our path now takes us into another fork. Our new exclusive gateway has 2 other paths, one of them where he decides to accept the rose again, one path where he accepts the rose in exchange for shelter and then he proceeds to call the servants and remains a human, or the other path, which is the outcome of the movie, where he tells the old beggar to get off of his lawn. At this time, the old beggar reveals that she's an enchantress and casts a magic spell on the prince, which ultimately makes him into a hideous beast. We could have added more detail into this process map, but for today's example we wanted to keep it very high level and very simple in order to demonstrate how some of the shapes could be used. As you produce your process maps, you will want to consider the amount of detail that you should include. And we're done. That concludes this session. Hope this was helpful. Hope this demonstrated how to use swim lanes, tasks, as well as exclusive gateways. If you have any questions or feedback, please feel free to leave them in the comments.